there, Colleen here from Keeping the Peace, and welcome back to another episode of Colleen Answers Your Questions. This is another private question through YouTube, so I'm not going to give the name, but I will give the initial N. Came through private messaging. She says, good evening. First off, thank you so much for your videos. You're welcome. I love doing these for you all. I'm a brand new shooter looking to concealed carry, and your series was helpful before going to the range for the first time. I'm assuming she's talking about the Preparing the New Shooter series. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it here. I'm trying to decide what gun to buy, and after trying out a few different ones, I feel very comfortable with the Walther PPQ. If you are not familiar with that gun, I will show you what it looks like. Okay, hopefully you can see that. That's the Walther PPQ. Sorry about that little bit of glare. That's what it looks like. It's a full-frame handgun. She says, I'm a little bit worried about concealment. What are your thoughts on concealment of this firearm as opposed to something a little smaller, like a compact Smith & Wesson M&P, for instance? Okay. So basically, here's the deal for not only ladies, but everyone in general. Anyone, even a small female, can conceal a full-framed handgun. It just depends on how much you're willing to alter your clothing style and how much you're willing to spend on gear. If you are going to conceal a large firearm, you're going to have to purchase high-quality, sturdy gear like a high-quality gun belt and a high-quality holster so that that large, heavy handgun stays in place on your waistband. Large-framed handguns are not going to work well with compression holster systems just because it's heavy and it's probably going to make things sag out of place and it's not going to feel good. I used to carry larger handguns as we've had a baby and my life has changed a lot, and I've definitely migrated toward compression holstering and smaller firearms because it's what works with our family right now with the way we're set up. It may be that way down the road when I'm not picking up a child anymore, I might go back to a belt rig and a larger gun. But for now, this is what works. But I do know women. I've never carried a full-framed handgun. I did carry a 1911, but it was scaled down to a 9mm cartridge, and it was definitely smaller. It was a 3-inch barrel rather than a 5, so it was not full-framed. However, it was much heavier than what I do now, and it was much bigger. I do know ladies as small as me and some even smaller that carry full-frame 1911s, the big, 5-inch, the real 1911s that are heavy. They're metal, they're heavy. And it can be done if you're willing to alter your clothing style a lot and buy good gear. So basically, you're going to have to spend a good chunk of money on your gear and be willing to alter the shape of your body and the way you dress yourself to be able to cover it up. It's going to take a much baggier, flowier cover garment to cover a full-frame gun than it is a little SIG P938 like the one that I'm carrying. So, for instance, this is my little SIG P938. This right now is in a Remora holster. It's a very small gun, so you can see my hand. I'm a fairly small female, 5'3", fairly small hands, and I can conceal this in a variety of places on my body. I can do it at 5 o'clock, I can do it appendix, I can do it in an ankle holster, I can do it on, if you've seen me in previous videos doing my non-traditional method of carry where I put it in a sticky holster under my strong side knee. I do that a whole lot with flowy skirts. So this little gun is very easy for me to hide anywhere. However, when I was carrying a larger, bulkier, heavier handgun, I always carried it in the 5 o'clock on my waistband, and I didn't have any other options with that gun. It was just too heavy. It would not work in any of those other locations. Just too big, too heavy, okay? So that's kind of the little give and take that you'll have when you're making this decision. There can be benefits and drawbacks to both. Maybe it is that you'll want to have both options, like have your full-frame gun for when you're wanting to dress a certain way, and then maybe have your smaller one for those days when you don't want to wear a belt, or where you don't want to wear belt loops, where you want to do something maybe more girly or something, like if you want to do a dress or something like that. So having options is always good. I hope that I've answered your question. If you have more questions on this subject, or if I didn't fully answer it, please let me know either in the down below or you can send me another private message. And you guys out there that are watching, what is your experience with this? Do you conceal a full-frame handgun? If so, what are some of the tips that you can offer that maybe are different than what I just said? If you are especially a small female or a small man trying to conceal a full frame handgun, what are some tips that you can offer if you do this on a daily basis? So I hope that helps, and I look forward to more questions from you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.